You won't believe what happened to this bully. The champagne cork practically ricocheted off my head. A little excessive for a junior art director promotion, even if it was Thompson's pet tradition. I grinned, dodging the foam and accepting the congratulations. I'd busted my butt for this. Late nights, endless revisions, absorbing every bit of design knowledge I could get my hands on. It felt good. Then I saw Brendan's face. He wasn't clapping. He wasn't smiling. He was standing in the back, arms crossed, his expression like he just swallowed something incredibly sour. Brendan was a senior designer, been at the company for 5 years. He was good, no doubt about it, but his ideas were safe. Predictable. I knew he'd been angling for this promotion. Sarah, bless her heart, squeezed my arm. Congrats, Liam, you deserve it. She subtly inclined her head towards Brendan. Just watch your back. I chuckled, maybe a little too loudly. Come on, Sarah, it's just a job. Besides, Brendan's all right. I knew I was lying even to myself. The first few weeks were tense. Brendan stopped including me in team lunches. He'd forget to forward important email chains. He'd make these little digs in meetings, thinly veiled insults about my unconventional approach. I tried to ignore it. I really did. I was focused on proving myself in the new role, landing new clients, pushing creative boundaries. My first big project was for EcoBloom, a sustainable gardening company. I poured everything I had into it. Sleek logo, earthy color palette, website designs that were both modern and inviting. I was particularly proud of the interactive planting guide I'd developed. It allowed users to virtually plant gardens and learn about companion planting. The initial client meeting went well. Mr. Thompson seemed genuinely impressed. Liam, this is exactly the kind of innovative thinking we need. Brendan, maybe you can take a few pointers. Brendan's jaw tightened. That night I stayed late, tweaking the website mock-ups. I saved everything, double-checked the file paths, and shut down my computer. The next morning, disaster. I opened the EcoBloom project folder and it was empty. Completely empty. My heart hammered against my ribs. I frantically searched my hard drive, the shared server, the recycle bin. Nothing, looking for something, Liam. Brendan stood behind me, a smug look on his face. The EcoBloom files, they're gone. I saved them last night, I'm sure I did. Brendan shrugged. Maybe you forgot, happens to the best of us. Thompson's going to be thrilled. He sauntered off, leaving me staring at a blank screen. Panic set in. I spent the entire morning recreating the designs from memory, fueled by coffee and adrenaline. I managed to salvage something passable, but it was nowhere near as polished as the original. During the afternoon check-in, Mr. Thompson was visibly disappointed. Liam, this feels rushed, not up to your usual standard. What happened? Brendan chimed in, all faux concern. He's probably just overwhelmed with the new responsibilities. Thompson, happens. I wanted to scream. I wanted to accuse Brendan outright, but I didn't have any proof. It was my word against his. Sarah pulled me aside after the meeting. Liam, I saw Brendan near your desk last night after you left. He was messing with your computer. I knew it, I exclaimed. But how can I prove it? There's no security footage in that area. Start documenting everything, Sarah advised. Every email, every meeting, every interaction with Brendan. Keep a detailed log. It might be your only chance. So I did. I started meticulously documenting everything. Every time Brendan took credit for my ideas in meetings, I wrote it down. Every time he forgot to include me in crucial emails, I saved screenshots. Every time my computer mysteriously glitched, I made a note of the date and time. It was tedious, time-consuming, and incredibly stressful. I felt like I was living in a constant state of paranoia. Brendan's sabotage became more brazen. He'd subtly alter my designs before client presentations, changing fonts, skewing images, making them look unprofessional. He'd schedule meetings without telling me, leaving me scrambling to catch up. He'd spread rumors about my work ethic, suggesting I was spending too much time on personal projects during company hours. Mr. Thompson started to lose faith in me. He'd question my judgment, second-guess my design choices, and openly praise Brendan's reliable and consistent performance. I felt like I was drowning. I was working harder than ever, but everything I did seemed to backfire. My creativity was stifled by fear. I was losing sleep, skipping meals, and snapping at Sarah whenever she tried to offer support. One evening, after another particularly humiliating client meeting, I found myself sitting alone in the office, staring at my computer screen. I was close to giving up. Maybe Brendan was right. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. Then I looked at my meticulously kept log. Pages and pages of documented sabotage. A wave of anger washed over me. I wasn't going to let Brendan win. I wasn't going to let him destroy my career. I decided to fight back, but I couldn't be direct. I couldn't accuse him outright. I needed to be smart, subtle, and deniable. I needed to use his own tactics against him. The opportunity came with a new project for TechSolution, a software company launching a new cybersecurity platform. The brief was challenging: create a visual identity that was both cutting-edge and trustworthy, appealing to both tech-savvy millennials and corporate executives. I came up with a bold concept, a minimalist logo featuring interlocking geometric shapes, representing the layers of security protecting the platform. The color palette was a sophisticated blend of blues and grays, conveying trust and stability. The website design was clean, intuitive, and visually engaging. I presented the initial concept to Mr. Thompson and Brendan. Thompson seemed cautiously optimistic. Brendan, predictably, was dismissive. "It's interesting, Liam," he said with a condescending tone, "but I'm not sure it's the right fit for TechSolution. It feels a little too abstract, too edgy. I think we need something more corporate, more traditional." I held my ground. "I understand your concerns, Brendan, but I believe this design captures the essence of TechSolution's innovative approach to cybersecurity. It's modern, sophisticated, and memorable." Thompson, ever the peacemaker, suggested a compromise. "Let's explore both directions. Liam, you continue developing your concept. Brendan, you come up with an alternative design. We'll present both options to the client." This was exactly what I wanted. I spent the next few days refining my designs, paying meticulous attention to every detail. I also made a few strategic adjustments. I subtly incorporated elements that I knew Brendan would criticize, things that were slightly off-brand or visually jarring. I knew he couldn't resist the urge to improve my work. The day before the client presentation, I left my computer unlocked for a few minutes while I went to grab a coffee. I knew Brendan wouldn't be able to resist taking a peek. When I returned, I could smell his cologne lingering in the air around my desk. I smirked. The trap had been set. The next morning, we gathered in the conference room for the TechSolutions presentation. Mr. Thompson introduced the project and then turned to me. "Liam, why don't you walk us through your design concept?" I launched the presentation and the first slide appeared on the screen. It was wrong. The logo was distorted, the colors were garish, and the typography was clashing. It was a visual train wreck. My heart sank. Brendan had done it again. He'd sabotaged my presentation. But this time I was ready. I took a deep breath and smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. As you can see, this is the slightly altered version of the design concept. There seems to be some minor inconsistencies that need addressing. Perhaps someone tried to improve it, but I think perhaps made some unintended choices." I smoothly transitioned to the next slide, which featured the original design concept, the one I had meticulously crafted. "This," I said, pointing to the elegant logo and sophisticated color palette, "is the design I presented to Mr. Thompson and Brendan last week. As you can see, it's a more refined and cohesive visual identity. I focused on creating something cutting-edge yet trustworthy, appealing to both tech-savvy individuals and corporate clients." I continued with the presentation, highlighting the key features of the original design and subtly pointing out the flaws in the altered version. I never directly accused Brendan of sabotage. I simply let the designs speak for themselves. The client was visibly impressed with the original design. They praised its creativity, sophistication, and memorability. They were less enthusiastic about the altered version, politely describing it as not quite the right fit. After the presentation, Mr. Thompson called Liam and Brendan into his office. "I'd like to have a chat about that presentation. There seemed to be some discrepancies." Brendan, looking pale and flustered, stammered, "Well, I just thought I could help Thompson, add a little Pete Zazz." "Pete Zazz?" Thompson raised an eyebrow. "By changing the entire color scheme and distorting the logo." I remained silent, letting Brendan dig his own grave. "Perhaps," I said calmly, "we could review the file history of the presentation. The timestamps should indicate who made which changes and when." Brendan's face went white. Mr. Thompson, his eyes narrowed, said, "That's a good idea, Liam. Let's do that." I opened the file history and projected it onto the screen. It clearly showed that Brendan had made significant changes to the presentation slides just hours before the meeting. Mr. Thompson stared at the screen, his expression unreadable. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Finally, he turned to Brendan. "Brendan, I'm disappointed. I expect a higher level of professionalism from my senior designers." He paused, then turned to me. Liam, I apologize for doubting your abilities. You handled that situation with remarkable grace and composure. You're in charge of the TechSolutions project moving forward. Brendan was dismissed and left the room like a scolded dog. The atmosphere in the office shifted almost overnight. Brendan became a pariah. People avoided him, whispered behind his back, and subtly distanced themselves from him. His reputation, once stellar, was now tarnished. Mr. Thompson, now fully aware of Brendan's behavior, started giving him less important projects, sidelining him in meetings, and generally treating him with a frosty politeness. Meanwhile, my career trajectory soared. The TechSolutions project was a huge success, landing us several new clients. I received accolades from Mr. Thompson, praise from my colleagues, and a significant raise. One day, I overheard Brendan on the phone, talking to someone about a job interview at a rival agency. He sounded desperate, bitter, and defeated. I didn't feel any joy or satisfaction in Brendan's downfall. I didn't revel in his misery. I simply felt a sense of closure. He had tried to sabotage my career, but he had ultimately sabotaged himself. A few weeks later, Brendan resigned. He left the office without saying goodbye, a shadow of his former self. The office was lighter without him. The tension had dissipated, and a sense of camaraderie filled the air. Sarah approached me, a knowing smile on her face. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? I shrugged. Just another day at the office. But inside, I knew that it was more than that. It was a victory. A victory for fairness, for integrity, and for the power of subtle, deniable revenge. And I had to fight to claim it.